Alright, what's up, worldwide family? Welcome back, all of y'all in YouTube land. Oh, goodness. I want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. From my home to yours, happy Thanksgiving. No, that's seriously a cool thing. Now, like a lot of people on Thanksgiving that come from families with all over, I am driving first to see my dad, and then after I go see my dad, I'm going to see my mom. So a little bit of today will be spent in the car or in the truck, but it is a privilege to do so. Super happy about that. So yeah, happy Thanksgiving. Let's get on to it. For y'all that don't know, here on YouTube, I go by Jimmy Flippin' Deals. This is my blog, the Jamestown Trading Company, and JamestownTrading.com. Since I mentioned that, there is a coupon code on the website. Coupon code YouTube will get you 10% off. Moving on, let's see what has happened in the last 24 hours since I've seen you last. The cheesy timer on my website is still on there. The guy didn't take it off. For y'all that don't know, I contracted out an aspect of my website development to somebody so I could get approved to be a Google merchant, which has still not happened. A lot of the developments that he did do are decent. His ideas are decent. Maybe not the follow through, but the ideas I do like and can definitely build on. It's nice to see another perspective. However, what I paid him for hasn't happened. What he said he was going to do, since I talked to him yesterday, as far as removing that cheesy timer, has not happened. So I'm getting less and less pleased with him as time goes on. Ultimately, I give him a day or two to work it out. I know we're on holidays in this country. I don't know about in theirs. I don't think it's the same, but it is a freelance gig, and he ought to be given the opportunity to correct itself. In all honesty, I'm going to give him the better part of this week to turn the ship to come about, and if that doesn't happen at the end of this next review cycle, if I get denied again through Google, then it will be evident that he does not know how to do what he said he would do, that I'm paying him to do, or that, he hasn't taken any money from me. In all honesty, it'll be evident that he's unable to do what he said he could get paid for. So at that point, if I have to break ties, so be it. I will do that. I also have the old theme on my website still saved and published, so it is possible just to revert everything back to the way it was. At least it's my understanding that it is, and ultimately that's what might end up happening. Hopefully, he will do what he said he could do, and I will be approved to be a Google merchant before too long for this Christmas season. And if not, at least into 2023. All right, that's done. Had a good amount of packages leaving out for yesterday. Since I seen you last, I think 7 packages, 8 units. When I made bills for the day, I stopped counting the money, so I'm not even sure how much I made, but it was good. It was very healthy for the day. Very pleased about that. I never intended this when I started, but mostly what I sell is clothes, so a lot of clothes went out. Now, when I say I made bills, I guess I do need to take into consideration the high return rate. But like I said, when I made bills, I quit counting, but I continued to do packages. So it generally does work itself out. I was able to put a Mercari payment into the account or get it started today, which I was happy about that. Not a lot going out through there, but in all honesty, in put it in perspective, I don't have a lot of listings on there. I think I have about 30 or 40 listings at the moment, and I got paid for 2. So in all honesty, that's not a bad conversion rate. As I continue to build that platform, I'm sure the sales will build too. There are customers there, which if you would have asked me this time last year, Mercari was a website that I would have wanted to do business with. I tried them with a few things, never got any sales, and went my separate way. This year, as I get more experienced, I realized that some of the things that I put on Mercari wouldn't sell anywhere. So it was my fault, not Mercari's. You do have to put things that people want at a price that people are willing to pay, right? And it didn't fit those 2 criteria, so my bad. I gave it another shot, sold almost instantly quite a few, 6 things within the first week. I do believe that was kind of beginner's luck, because I've even have multiples of those things. They're not selling necessarily. I've put other things on there, and I did manage to grab 2 more sales. So in the last, 2 to 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it's been, since I re-hooked up with Mercari, not that I started a new account, but just devoted more time to it, I have sold 8 items on there. So happy about that. If you've never tried Mercari and you want to try, there is a coupon code down in the description, a link to get, I think it's like 20 or 30 bucks off Mercari, dollars off. I mean, they're real dollars, but you got to spend them on Mercari. Anyway, if you want to do that, feel free, whether you're a customer or a seller, that money's still good, so you might as well use it. But yeah, I was able to drop a small little check into the account, and it'll get here when it gets here, but that was nice. What was it, yesterday, the day before, Amazon comes out of the blue, I get the ding like I got a sale. I look, it says, your payment's on the way. I was like, oh yeah, Amazon, I forgot about you. It's easy to do, but with Amazon, I'm making jabs. I don't do a lot of business on Amazon for them to be all big and mighty. I do a decent amount of business, just not on Amazon. So their catalog is deficient. Yeah, don't care too much for them. But nevertheless, on that, this wasn't the topic of the video, but I did get an IP complaint through them about 6 months ago from Roller Derby, and I'd even mentioned them. And I don't know that one has anything to do with the other, but I did mention them quite a few videos back that, I got an IP complaint from them. And, I've got to sleep. Anyway, maybe one more. See, if I knew how to do cuts, I could take those out, but I think y'all seen somebody sneeze before. So, we'll keep moving. Anyways, as of the other day, they retracted it. And I had sent them a letter and stuff, but this has been 6 months ago, guys. So, long story short, Amazon sent me a apology letter saying we err on the side of caution and we're sorry for any inconvenience this may have caused, and yada yada yada. We'll correct your metrics in the seller profile. So I guess it's a win. Not that it really affected me anyway. Like I say, I don't do a lot of business on there, but it was nice to see the retraction. And maybe moving forward, maybe it's a sign that Amazon's doing less on IP complaints. I doubt it. I think IP complaints are overrated as far as the power that they're able to boss Amazon and some of these other major marketplaces around on. IP, intellectual property, is only due to illegitimate copies. If I copy your idea, that's an IP complaint. If I'm selling a legitimate product, that's not an IP complaint. So I think their abuse of their clout is ridiculous. But But until I get big enough to fire them all, I guess we're just going to have to deal with it. So, world domination. No. Oh, funny. For me, I crack myself up. But anyway, on my way to Dad, so the IP complaint is done. Super cool. Let me see, the website, a little frustrating. The sales, those were good. What else? Looking towards the future. I did get quite a few. More items went into the store last night than what went out, which resulted in not a lot of sleep. And but that's okay. That happens. That's part of it. And I did score 5 shirts that should go for about $15 a piece. Scored them for $1 a piece. After I spent $5 in shipping and $2.25 on fees, that is roughly $8 to $15. That's $7.50 profit on $1. Not too shabby. So $7.50 times 5 for those mathematician friends of mine out there. I think it's $37.50 in profit. And I was able to pull that in about 20 minutes out of the store. So it's not where the efforts end to collect that, but still a decent little come up, right? I mean, it's a work in progress. As the bankroll grows, I'm able to take advantage of more and more things. And those things are pushing me beyond the store level to make happen, because although I can make decent money in stores, that is only scalable to a certain extent. Can I support myself on these stores clearance? Yes, I can. Matter of fact, I can do it in my off time. I've proven that with just a little bit more effort. Especially once the warehouse gets here in short order. Now, for me, it's not the first year kind of deal, but 3 to 5 years into doing this, yes, I can support myself off of these stores clearance in my off time. If I quit my job, and I'm not gonna quit my job, but I'm just saying, as far as scalability, if I quit my job, that frees up more time, and not only can I pay my bills, I can get very, very comfortable off of running around to a whole bunch of stores. No question. But that's only scalable to that point. Like, there is a point when I run out of hours in the day, and in my off time, as you can plainly see, there is also an issue with running out of hours in the day to process things. Now, with the ebbs and flows of the clearance market, this does not concern me. I'm ready for it to go away. But case in point, over the last week or two, I've been able to retrieve very little in clearance. So I've been able to, list more things, ship more things, because of the season. The catalog hasn't grown exponentially like it would, say, in May, if the clearance were to run out and I could backfill from the different death piles, stockpiles of uncatalogued merchandise that I have, and dwindle through that during those ebbs and flows. But nevertheless, ultimately, what I'm getting to is there's a point where that is no longer scalable. It takes too much time going from one store to the next, looking through stores. It takes me, when I'm not on a strategic search and rescue into a store, like, hey, I'm going to get this, let me go get this and move to another, because I do that also. My record's like 17 stores in one day. But when I'm just scouting stores and finding what I need, it takes me about an hour in a store. So, roughly 8 of those in a day, and then time cataloging on top gives me a 12 to 14 hour day, and that is it. Like, that is the limit. However, say all that to get where I'm at now, there are ways of scaling without spending so much time sourcing. People do it in lots of forms, by buying truckloads of pallets of shelf pulls and things of that nature. Also, private label, is something that I'm looking at. Those are the directions ultimately that I think long term are going to be the most beneficial, because just like my job where it pays, part of my success at my day job is being able to decide what has the most impact with the least amount of movement, how I'm able to affect the business by just tweaking it just a little bit, by if we do this instead of that, we get further. If we do this instead of that, we sell more. That kind of deal. So I'm taking the same, I took the wrong exit, taking that same philosophy into this. If instead of doing these 8-hour shopping trips, if I will order a truckload from a consolidation, then all I got to do is process, which I would have to process the store stuff too. Now, that being said, truckloads don't necessarily have multiple listing SKUs. I'm not necessarily promised when I get a truckload in that I'll have 100 of this and 100 of that. So each and every SKU that's on that truck has to be its own separate listing. Those things take time. Whereas private label, when I order a pallet or 2 pallets or a container of a particular item from China and wait the 2.5 months or whatever for it to get here, I have thousands of one listing. I make one listing for thousands of items. So, by doing that as many times as I can, and ultimately when that thousands of XYZ widget get down to 100 XYZ widget, then I order another 5,000 units of the same listing. And then when ABC widget gets low, if you follow me, then I just order more ABC widget, almost like a regular store, and then I turn from all my resources from a sourcing aspect or a task of sourcing, finding product, listing product, to fulfilling product, and maintaining on hands. And that is when things get really, really big. So, as buying power increases, that is where this ship is slowly turning. I don't like this camera. It always makes my teeth yellow, and they're not yellow. So, just so you know. If you don't know, now you know. But yeah, I don't know whether it's the camera, whether it's the light. It's not my teeth. Matter of fact, I got subconscious about it, and I looked. It's not them. So, whatever. I guess my eyes are yellow too. I don't know. If y'all know how to fix that, whether it's my camera, whether it's the lighting, y'all let me know, because that's not necessarily cool. Anyway, so yeah, back to the scaling. That's where the whole thing's focused. And as it is nice already this year when things drop that are clearance price at $100 or $70 or $80, whereas last year I'd been like, whoa, that's too much money. Now I'm like, how many you got? Oh, you got 10 of them? Sure. You know, like the air conditioners I talked about that I probably should have hopped on, but they were, I mean, it was a 30% return, which is well within acceptable parameters for me. It's not ideal, and it was not an ideal hold time, but it is money in the bank, period, and I know it is. There were $175 air conditioners for $75. They would take, I think it was 30 or 35 to ship out, and then the fees and stuff that are associated with it. And I think they were going for like $150 online, but nevertheless, there was 10 or 11 of them. I was busy that day. It was kind of rainy. All I had was the back of the truck, and so I threw off on it, but it would have been nice to take advantage. Normally I do. That one particular sale I lost out on, and I'm sure you can tell that it's still eating me. So it's not the end of them, but I have been able to capitalize on a lot of them. And it is nice when you take a little box, stick it in another box, seal it up, slap a label on it, and get paid like 50, 60 bucks. So I do love that. Matter of fact, I need more of that. I need more of that in my life. And you know, another side of this, which is less profitable, but still what stores do with, as I get bigger and space is not necessarily as much of an issue, then the profit margin on certain things can be less. You know, stores operate on very small profit margins on a lot of their items just because it's filler and quick turns, you know, that it buys quick. You know, I may only make 10% on each item, but I sell 1,000 items a month or whatever, and they only take up the size of a filing cabinet or whatever, but you get my gist. I need to look for those things that I can source locally through wholesale accounts. Anyway, guys, I am here at Dad's, please, if you made it this far, thank you, first and foremost. Consider liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, all that good YouTube stuff. And plus, we still have that giveaway to do. So if you don't know, go back to my last video, and at the end of it, you don't have to watch the whole thing, but at the end of it, there are directions on how to be entered into the giveaway. So that's it. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.